Everybody knows I am very fond of Nelson Chamisa. Today he called a press conference to inform the nation that he will not be going to an election unless the conditions are perfect for him to win. His key issues are the ballot printing is not being done to his satisfaction, the voters' roll has seeming errors in it that have up to 300 duplicated names. Moral of his story is there are three problems at play. Number one, the media is not telling a favorable story of him. Number two, the ballot papers are not being printed by his people and the voters' roll has errors. So until this has been addressed, there will be no election. Let me help you. First of all, there will be an election. Second of all, none of the issues you raised will be attended to. Not because they don't matter or they don't want to address them, but simply because there's no legal basis for what you are asking for. In 2016, Kenya went to an election. It was the most chaotic election this continent has seen since Zimbabwe 2008. But 48 hours later, after the first round of elections, former US Secretary John Kerry endorsed the results in the election on behalf of the American people. The election would proceed to a rerun, and the opposition would contest that, with their lives even. And as soon as that was done, it was endorsed again by the world because the world is only judging one thing: who brought the people out. 2015, Goodluck Jonathan in Nigeria went into an election where Boko Haram was literally abducting and killing on election day. When Buhari won, the same tax was attempted to discredit the legitimacy of the election. The world endorsed it and moved past it because Nigeria is Africa's largest population and the second largest economy. The world powers are more interested in trade. They will endorse any decision that keeps the trade flowing. I want you to understand that this election is not going to be won on technicalities. It will be won by the majority vote. When it comes to issues of the media coverage, in America, there is television stations that are sworn to candidates. Same with the United Kingdom. The media here, yes, so I think the Herald, I agree with you, it does pick a side and it's very pro-ED. But when you look at the Daily News, it's very anti-ED and it's very pro-you. We have observers and political parties in this country more than we've ever had in the history of this country. Companies with the highest level of skill sets, with kids who wear glasses thicker than ice blocks, they make errors. You're not going to find a flawless election system anywhere in the world. You're not going to stop an election because there are a few typing errors on the voters' roll. I'll give you an example. The NASA space rovers went to NASA and its controllers miscalculated and the spacecraft failed to land. Toyota 2008 had to recall 4 million cars after their cars malfunctioned, even though they had gone through the most advanced production testing units. In America, George Bush in 2004 won the election when everybody said there were irregularities in California, but George Bush went on to serve a full term. The FBI in America flagged Russian interference in Donald Trump's victory. But you guess who's the president of the United States today? Donald Trump. The Titanic was built by men who were so convinced that their planning was flawless, they even dared God to sink the ship. You think your campaign is so flawless that you even say God is in it. My friend, you are ill-advised. 72 hours after the election is done, it will be endorsed by the world. There are two key details you are forgetting. Number one, it was you who asked for the biometric system as a condition of electoral reform. Number two, the same Justice Chigumba you are now attacking, who is the chairperson of ZEC, is the same judge who would allow MDC marches when state had denied you just a year ago. The same judge who famously acquitted Pastor Ivan Mawarire of subversion when she was still at the High Court. She went through Parliament vetting and got endorsed by Parliament. By the way, you sat in the committee that endorsed her while you were in Parliament. I think you're becoming a real crybaby, Mukoma. If you want to win this election, there are three things you need to focus on. Number one, get money, because your campaign is now broke. And the reason it's now broke is because your language doesn't inspire money. If the diaspora was truly supporting you, there's 5 million of them out there. If half of them gave you $10 each, you would be sitting on $25 million and you'd game change this election. If America was supporting you, we all know they would have found a way to get money to you. You're talking about a country that funded the removal of strong men across the world. But you don't have to look that far. Because you know that the British, through the Westminster Fund, was able to get millions of dollars to the MDC in 2008. The Americans, through the George Soros Foundation, was able to get $40 million to you in 2008. America has stopped funding to the bogus NGOs like the ERC, who we all know would have been, in fact, has been and would have been used as a great channel to get money to opposition, but now they've been dumped. If you're going to protest successfully, like you threatened to, it's going to cost you money, Mukoma. No successful demonstration can be sustained without money. Ask the professional demonstrators all around you. Right now, the world wants to trace its progress with Zimbabwe. They want to trade with Zimbabwe. They want our lithium. They want a piece of the cake. And definitely the Americans are not going to let the Chinese get away with only them participating in the diamonds. They will endorse whatever pushes trade. The geopolitics of our country places us in a very important location on the regional trade routes for South Africa to get north, but most importantly for the movement of fuel pipes, electricity and minerals in and around the region. So forget about getting help from the Americans. The second thing you need to focus on is getting the voters to vote for you. Rigging is a game of margins of error. You can't rig an overwhelming majority. Focus on getting the majority and you will be safe. There is no way of rigging a big number that is in the millions or in the hundreds of thousands. You can only rig small margins of errors. But lastly, you need to focus on uniting the opposition. As long as the opposition is not united, ED wins this election. There is no international legal standard or agreement that forces governments to perform in a certain way when it comes to elections. The only thing that counts is that foreign leaders meet, and when they meet with the head of state, they enter into agreements and make deals. If they do that, then they'll legitimize anything. With that said, until tomorrow, head bowed. Hi guys, thank you for supporting the Lumumba Files. To make sure you don't miss the show, press the subscribe button below and the notification button, that's the one with the little bell, and you will always get told when I put up a show. Thank you for watching. Head bowed.